Welcome, everybody. We're back with the Heroes International. It is day 2 of the event, and well, we have a rare guest here. Somebody that was supposed to be here yesterday already, but you had a bit of a trip.
Pokemon. Yeah, okay, well, it wasn't my fault. I was at LAX. We get on the plane. We're all just, chilling out. Pilot comes on, and he's like, hey, it's your pilot speaking. By the way, we tested the brakes, and they're not working. So I'm happy. I'm very happy that the plane did not take off because
you're clawing at the window. You let me out.
It's like, but it was pretty late, and they didn't have a replacement plane, so had to fly in the morning. But I'm here now.
Yeah.
I am sad that I saw, on Twitter that the 30K boys did lose 0-3. I'm hoping they can bounce back today. Obviously, unbiased. That is going to be my favorite team, but. Yeah, I'm just excited to cast some HOTS, right? This is, haven't had a HOTS lane in a while.
Yeah, I had a similar thing when I actually left Miami the last time because we were delayed for, I think, 3 hours at the airport and they were trying to fix problems on the plane. And after like 1.5 hours, most of us were like, I don't think we want to get on that plane anymore. I don't care if you fix the problem, but something seems to be an issue here. So how do you give us a new plane?
Because it gets kind of sketchy, It's like...
At some point, you're like, do I really want to go on that plane?
Is it worth it? Is it worth my life at the end of the day?
Our brakes aren't working.
Yeah. Well, those seem a little critical to me, at least. They were landing brakes, so, maybe we would have been fine in the air, but coming
You can always hit a wall, right? That stops you pretty quickly.
Yeah, true.
It's one way of...
True. Just hold on tight, hope that my part of the plane doesn't collapse.
Yeah, but guys, so we're here. Everybody made it safely. For some of us, it took a little bit longer. Gaflo being one of them. We had already a full day of matches yesterday, and today is going to be a much longer day probably because we have 5 best-of-5s in total, and it should get really wild. We have our first lobby already set up. Khaldor is going to be the first map between PEZ and Ammonite, and it should be fairly interesting. It's going to be a pretty good series because Ammonite was not happy yesterday after losing to Bangbush.
Yeah, they definitely were not. And they were here early as well. Yesterday at dinner, they came over to the 30K boys. They're like, you want to scrim? 8:30? And the guys are like, we don't play till 4, so maybe 9:30. But yeah, they were here basically as soon as they could, getting games in. And Storm, they as well. Well, they're not called Storm, but all their names are Storm, so it gets in my head.
Yeah.
But yesterday, they actually had some pretty close series against Tempest. I mean, they lost all the games, but some of the games did look pretty close. So maybe I have the Koreans numbered.
So we got Khaldor coming up here, and immediately Ammonite with a ban on Brightwing. But as explained earlier, Ammonite was super unhappy. They immediately went to the hotel after they lost, and they told the Korean casters, listen, we have to figure out what's going on here. This can't really happen. Obviously, the Koreans, they have a huge reputation here, not only something where they themselves have a high expectation to their play, but also the fans. So they already sat down early and were like, okay, we need to deal with this somehow. Even at dinner yesterday, they were asking us, when can we be at the venue? At what time does this open? We need to get more practice in. We need to get a couple more games in. And we'll see today if it works against PEZ, who have actually surprised me in the winner bracket a bit. They went up against Tempest, and it was a 2-0, but they played much better there than I initially expected them to, so this could be a pretty good one.
And they've got a superpower today, all right? You want to know what it was? My Death Adder mouse. I gave it to BBJ. He asked me if I had a spare mouse. I was like, I got you, fam.
Oh, God,
so
they got no chance. No.
They have the super secret power. That's all I'm going to say. If BBJ is playing out of his mind, it's my mouse. If he's not playing well, it wasn't my fault. He needs to get it together. That's all I'm
not even the mouse can save it then?
Yeah, not even the mouse can save it. But we've got, looking at the draft, we've got Abathur and Brightwing taken away for Ammonite. PEZ have taken off the Junkrat and the Diablo, but a Dahaka first pick, getting the global secured on this map, I think is pretty powerful. We saw a lot of really good flanks yesterday coming in from this hero as well. So I like the Dahaka first pick. Curious to see what the response is.
There's a couple of interesting plays here already. So first of all, Diablo was played a lot as the main tank, and tons of teams really struggled to deal with it. It was mainly, I want to say, Tempest that dealt a lot with Diablo as a first pick in the first rotation, but other teams started to emulate that too. So now him being banned is definitely an adjustment made, and this is what we've been talking about all the time. This tournament meta that evolves in an international event. Everybody coming in saying like, hey, our meta is the best. Then you get a reality check pretty quickly in game number 1, game number 2, and everybody has to figure out what's happening. So we get Diablo banned out, but we have Abathur also banned. And it's going to be a pretty interesting one with Lucio now enabling these quick rotations. So that's a bit of a surprise coming from Europe that Lucio is being allowed through quite a lot of drafts here.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems like the Rhaegar is pretty high in priority as well. So it seems like Ammonite was okay trading the Rhaegar for the Lucio. And also securing themselves Genji, right? A very strong assassin. And I'm actually liking the looks of their comp so far. Definitely the Ancestral being able to throw onto the Genji that's deblading. I mean, may go for X-Strike as well. Both are still an option. But yeah, just a really good save. And also provides a lot of PvE pressure, right? Curse Hollow, you want to be able to get those Siege Giants. You want to be able to get the Bruiser camps, on very strict timings. That way you can, pair them up when the tributes spawn. So
yep.
I like the Rhaegar pick. We'll be curious to see really for PEZ. They need to pick their damage. And they get a Blaze, so they get another tanky, but we really need to see what damage they're going to have.
I was honestly also looking for to maybe see a Sylvanas pick here at some point. We've seen a lot of pressure plays with her too, and even some split push pressure with Hammer and Sylvanas from some of the European teams yesterday. But we get Tychus, and Tychus has been picked a lot, especially against these Diablo compositions that have been played throughout the tournament. But of course, outside of that, he also is providing a lot of damage. We've seen him on Infernal Shrines to take control over the objective, and now CPX here with a pick. Going full StarCraft on the second rotation. I like it.
I don't love the Tychus, and hear me out. Dahaka has Burrow, right?
Yep.
So you pop your minigun, Dahaka burrows it. Genji, not going to be a hero you can really minigun into, right? Has so much mobility. Johanna is going to be really the only target you're able to get a lot of minigun value on, and has that unstoppable. Maybe can just walk away, maybe can falling sword. So, I think Ammonite definitely has the tools to not allow this Tychus to get very much, and they take the Sylve as well.
Yep.
I feel like if, PEZ would have taken the Sylve there instead, I would have liked their comp a lot more.
Yep.
And now Ammonite just has so much map pressure with the Sylvanas, with the Rhaegar, with the global coming in from the Dahaka. I really like the tools that they've set themselves up with in this game number 1. And yeah, PEZ has a tall order.
I like the False to at least have a global on the map that they can play around with. It also helps them with the disengage if they really have to. So they have a few more tools also around boss fights here. But if Tychus, for example, is used to force battles around the boss, then I can see Odin getting a bit more value. But generally, I totally agree. The Sylvanas pick, I expected them more so on the side of PEZ. But Ammonite picked it up when they had the chance there. And with Johanna, you have that added blind now as well. But it's game number 1. We got a best of 5, so we got all of the best of 3s out of the way yesterday. So today it's time for best of 5s here, and yeah, I'm excited.
Get that weak shit out of here! Best of 5s only! Let's go!
Someone is hyped. Yeah, we missed you yesterday.
All the games yesterday. I'm just happy to be here. But this is it. Game number 1, North America versus Korea. Ooh. And whoever loses, they're out, right?
Exactly.
They flew to come here, and this is, their tournament life on the line. This is the best of 5 that they have, and it's going to be on Curse Hollow, and I don't know. I think the Koreans are taking this game. What about you? What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you're a big North American fan. They're your favorite region.
They definitely are, of course. Flag is not the best. I got a better one. Yeah, always been an NA fanboy. It's widely known, of course. Like, who are these Europeans? But yeah, so we're heading into the first game, and it's going to be pretty wild. I hope that PEZ is able to take a few maps here. I would really love to see that, and that would be great. But of course, Ammonite comes in as the favorite, their second seed in their region. We have on the left side now, we got the blue team, and in this case, it is Haben on Sylvanas. We got H82 and Dehaka, Reset on Genji, Height on Rhaegar, and Spell is playing Jojo.
And on the right, in the red, we have got PEZ. We've got CPOGX on the Tychus. We've got Unaverted playing the Muradin. We've got Hosty on the Falstad. We've got BBJ on the Lucio, and Porky playing the Blaze. And looking in this top lane, you see Ammonite immediately trying to get tower damage, and they're going to be able to get a decent amount here, getting about half a tower, and also forcing the Falstad fly. But Porky with the double stun, but they're not going to have the damage follow-up, but definitely a good trade in favor of PEZ life bar-wise. But I actually think Ammonite is the big winner with half a tower taken.
Yeah, and they have their Haka already at the bottom of the map as well. 3-man to defend the top, and Lucio side too. So yeah, it's going to be a wild game here. PEZ, the one thing I have to say is that they made a lot of improvements from the qualifiers to what we've seen yesterday. They went up against the first seed in Korea. They lost both maps, but they got their kills. They looked a lot better than I expected them to. I expected more of a speed run from Tempest since they're the dominant team here at the event. So that gives me some hopes for PEZ in this best of 5. But as we already said, Ammonite is definitely the clear favorite here.
Yeah, and looking at the macro coming out, looks like Ammonite opting for the Siege Giants first. Generally what you will see, and Porky immediately starting up the Bruiser camp, so maybe we'll see some sort of pressure in the mid lane here coming out from PEZ. But it looks like Ammonite just going up for the double camp. So they're going to get their bruisers as well. And this might just leave PEZ. Okay, I actually like this. Now that I'm realizing, I think PEZ is looking to time their Siege Giants with this first trip spawn, which will be around 2:30. And that's why they started for the bruiser camp. So a smart macro rotation coming out from PEZ, recognizing, hey, we want these bot Siege Giants bottom around the time that the trip spawns.
Yeah, and right now we of course have in just 2.5 minutes the first tribute coming up, but there's pressure already with Hosty now having to defend, and he's low in H point. It's really tricky for him now to venture out here. He's up against the Genji too, and if they don't pay attention, then Reset is going to go for that kill. That's why we now have Brandon rotating towards the top to help him out here, but that opens up more possibilities for the blue team in the middle of the map.
Yeah, so, you know, with that false step being so low, going to enable basically a full mid turret here, or not mid turret, basically the whole entire wall. Double stun does come out from Porky again. Hyde falling pretty low here, but not going to die, as Brandon, right on the Murden, was forced to help topside. And that's going to be part of why they were able to survive. And during all this, Dahaka's able to, you know, basically get the clear advantage on bottom. Hosty, though, falling very, very low. The Genji in a false step matchup is a hard one. I think is definitely Genji favored. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as this game goes on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tricky for false set throughout the game here. Obviously, Genji is always going to aim for him whenever he can, and it's one of those squishy targets. Genji likes his chicken, and that's going to make it very, very rough here. Not impossible, but you really have to be on your toes in situations like this. And there's a lot of dive available for Ammonite. You highlighted the Dehaka during the draft that can come in with the burrow during the fight. And then you have heroes like Sylvanas and also Genji that can close the distance too. And they're pushing the back. So Ammonite is starting to take control and space around the first tribute. And unless we're going to see a miracle interrupt here in the last second, it is the first tribute for the Koreans.
Yeah, but it looks like PEZ wants the fight here. Hyde on the Rhaegar in a bit of a scary position. A good sidestep, though, coming out from Hyde does take a couple of turret shots, will lose their life. But I think if you're the side of Ammonite, you'll take that just one life in, you know, exchange for a tribute. And during all of this, Dahaka is soaking, was able to take down the Siege Giants. I really thought PEZ was going to pressure harder on the bot side. I thought Tychus was just going to stay down there and push out. But actually, you know, in exchange, we have H82 on the Dahaka, able to get one turret, maybe two turrets. And at this point, definitely, you know, small lead for Ammonite, but feel like they're dictating more of the pace of the game so far.
It's a single kill that we've seen thus far for Team PEZ in their favor, but the map control goes to the blue team for sure. It's small advantages everybody is edging out here, and it's of course the tribute that really matters quite a bit. But in experience, they're still fairly even, and to the point we're still waiting for the big team fights in this.
Yeah, and also structure-wise, I mean, Ammonite here, though, Haven, though, is going to fall very low. Is going to actually lose her life on the Sylvan. Trib is spawning in 10 seconds, so this could open up an opportunity. And on the bot side of the map as well, Genji getting chunked out. Good plays from PEZ on two sides of the map, chunking out the Genji and getting a kill for themselves. This is the type of plays they need to make.
I like this. PEZ with the second kill now and at the perfect moment in time, so they can start to work for that second tribute that you normally don't get as the red team given the position that it's in.
He stalled himself. BBJ! Is that the Death Adder mouse coming in? He had it! He literally had it! And he accidentally canceled. Genji, though, eing forward. Okay, actually going to be able to E out here. Haven did use their spell. BBJ falling very low on the Lucio, trying to escape. 20 HP! Going to be able to do it!
That's the Udall mouse at work. The Udall mouse with a skill transfer. He gets out. So does Reset. Reset still wants to kill her, going to the fight once again, and Hosty is in trouble. Falls on the first one to fall as they're trying to make another play for Blaze. He's super low, so is CPX. Blaze is dead. Everybody dead and dying. A disaster for PEZ, but they at least get 2 kills out of this. Nicely done. Level 10 just around the corner as we have the first huge team fight between the two teams.
Yeah, an absolute bloodbath there as 5 heroes have fallen. But yeah, pretty even actually in the end. I mean, Ammonite, again, going to be the winner of that trade because they got 1 extra kill, but they also now are on curse point. If they are able to get the curse, they can completely blow this map open up all of those forts, maybe pair up a boss with it. I mean, we saw, what, Tempest versus 30K yesterday? They got, you know, the Trib and the boss like 11, 12 minutes, and the game just ended. But Khaldor, look at Rhaegar's ultimate.
Bloodlust, the Koreans love it. They play it 80% of the time when they pick Rhaegar.
What?
We've seen it yesterday. Yeah, in the qualifiers, a ton, dude. It was super fun. And the funny thing to me is, they do it here, but they pick it into Falstad. They don't care. They're like, trying Gust, and they always make it work. It's so weird to me. Like, in theory, this would be the perfect counter to Falstad come in and Gust, but the Koreans, with the timing and playing around the opponent, always make this work for themselves, and it is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see how it goes out. It does definitely give them a good go button. But I do feel like PEZ, as far as tools go, also have Lucio speed, have the bunker. I feel like they should be able to counter this Bloodlust if they do pay it correctly. But both teams, you know, while we were talking about ultimates, will end up swapping bosses. And this is definitely going to favor Ammonite as they're getting the stalls on the trip. And during all of this, Sylvanas and the Rhaegar are just pushing this fort. They're disabling it. So with their boss, they're getting an entire fort, and they're stalling the trip here as Cpog X, Tychus falling very low. The bunker comes out, not going to be able to activate it in time. The X strike, and that's a dead Cpog X, but PEZ trying to turn it around, Khaldor.
Yeah, they get the first kill. They're looking for more, and PEZ is coming in and trying to counter. They're trapping them in that little corner here around the trip. The stun connects, and that is the end of Johanna. Nicely done. But Sylvanas is continuing to push the bot lane. There's ton and ton of time now for Ammonite. They're losing another hero though. Sylvanas might do a lot of damage here, but still there's a lot of map control lost to the Korean team since North America is locking in one kill after another. Tychus moves down to the bot lane to respond. They're taking damage on the key. This makes it super difficult, but they have to prevent this curse from happening.
Yeah, I think this is a massive win for Ammonite though. They got half of the keep. That is 8 minutes into the game, and this keep is not more than a half, is down to, you know, about like a third life left. That means the next boss for Ammonite, and if they pair it up with a trib, you know, with a potential curse, this could be a game-winning. That is the win condition. That is the area where Ammonite, if they ever get bosses into the future, they could potentially win. But PEZ here, Bloodlust actually coming out, but there, like you said, Khaldor, the Hosty using the Gust is going to allow Brandon to survive.
Yeah, the bottom keep is really the biggest concern for me right now, since it's so low. I think that PEZ thought that they could save a lot more hit points on it. They were willing to sacrifice the wall maybe a little bit more. But here we are, level 13 for both. We have a kill lead for the North Americans. They need to get this tribute, but the kill here would be perfect if they can get it. And they go for Genshin. They take him down. A perfect kill for NA. Now they should be able to lock that tribute in. And this is exactly the game that I was hoping for. The Koreans, they have so many good fights. They control the macro. They have a fantastic push at the bot lane. But North America is fighting back. They're finding their kills. They're getting pressure. They're building momentum. And that's exactly what we want to see here. Big plays now made by the red team.
And they're winning the race to 16. You see Hosty backing now to get top experience. If there could be a window here where they have a brief 16 advantage as this next, you know, curse tribute is spawning. If they get that, it could be a momentum to, you know, take the forts, get the boss. This is very much an even game. Either team could win. Ammonite, again, that bot keep cannot be forgotten about. If they get a boss, they could end the game. But PEZ is in a fighting position. They could easily win this. All they need is one team fight around this trip, and they get a good spawn. They get a spawn on their side of the map.
Yeah, it's always scary going up against the Koreans, especially when you're looking at the mid and the late game. We've seen it from Tempest time and time again, that one team fight is all they need to take the opponent down here. So, as you said, big fight victory for PEZ would give them the momentum, but the same is also true for Ammonite, who are now trying to use the Haka to pressure the bot keep even further. And I'm really worried about that bot lane. We're only 10 minutes in, the Catapults are not playing too big of a role here, and at least the fort was taken down on the blue team side as well. But if they keep the pressure up, their Haka should be eventually able to take this. Oh no, Lucio going down. And again, that's the Udall curse right there.
I think he was using the land mouse for that one, actually. Yeah, actually, looking over, that's what I see. Oh, he just pulled out the Death Adder, so he's going to be much stronger as we go on. But this is a massive momentum swing. Ammonite is going to get the curse point. They have Siege Giants in the top side. I expect this to be full disaster for PEZ. Ammonite is about to take the house, the barn. They're going to mortgage everything. They're going to take Broadway. They're going to take it all.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit rough here for NA. They're in full defense mode at this point in time. Level 16 on both sides right now. And they have to try and hold on to these keeps as best they can. But every single lane is pushed out now. And this is getting real tricky. Bot lane should be a given that this keep falls. They're trying to defend everywhere here. And Lucio is back to business. But the damage is coming in as Ammonite is looking to take structures down. NA looking for the kill though. Trying to make this happen. But can they?
Bloodlust, the turnaround. Looks like they're coming in. Gus does come out. Isolation onto the Blaze as well. Reset. Going in. Murden, though. Brandon able to jump out with about a sliver of HP. But remember, PEZ, they're on the back foot here. They're trying to defend. Porky gonna get pulled in. Does still have the bunker. Gonna be able to activate it. X-Strike, though, gonna take down BBJ on the Lucio. Porky, full retreat on the Blaze. As it looks like PEZ, they're running. They're trying to survive. Curse for another 4 seconds. Porky is going to fall. That's 2 for PEZ. The question is, Ammonite, they're gonna get all 3 keeps, most definitely, but are they gonna get the core?
Yeah, are they gonna go core or do they have to retreat here? It's a 5 versus 3 currently as the Koreans are looking to take game number 1. They get another kill. Muradin is down. And this is looking fantastic. The core losing its shield, the keeps are gone, and the Koreans on their way to victory in the first game of the best of 5 here in the losers bracket of the Heroes International. All the defensive tools of North America to no avail, and this is victory. Ammonite, the lead in the best of 5 here in the losers bracket.
Game number 1, Ammonite, well deserved. They definitely had the map pressure the whole time, but I feel like PEZ, they brought it back that last, pivotal trib fight where BBJ did get taken down a bit preemptively on the Lucio. He's going to go back and watch the VOD, and he's going to be kicking himself. He's going to be like, why did I take this dang Death Adder from Udall? Why did I let him give me this mouth? I didn't want to go there.
I mean, honestly, it is a smart play by you. The sooner you kick the other NA teams out, the better your team looks. So, yeah, it's actually kind of smart. They gave him a defect mouse, and he was like in the middle of it. He's like, I'm clicking right, guys. I'm trying to get out of the way here. And then he gets caught.
That's an easy clap. That's
IQ 200 play right there.
But yeah, I mean, I think PEZ could maybe bring it back. I think if they had the Sylph too, it maybe would have helped more.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Tychus did much at all. And I think that for Ammonite, they got so much from that boss trade.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was the fact that they had the Sylvanas. Like, imagine that's reversed. Imagine you have, your Sylph pushing in the top lane and maybe Falstad defending bottom. I think it's a completely different game. And it just didn't feel like Tychus was really able to do that much. Not blaming CPX per se, but more, I think the pick just wasn't great for what they were trying to do and just on the map.
If you have a global and you have Sylvanas, you can always split push on 2 sides of the map. And then once they were able to do that with the boss, because PEZ was forced to fight for the tribute and prevent the curse from happening, it became just so tricky for them to split themselves. But at the same time, I gotta say, we have the victory for the team that was the favorite, or is still the favorite for the series. But they got their kills. They got their momentum. If they are the ones to lock in that last tribute and they get the curse, it's a completely different game. So that gives me some hope that PEZ has a chance to fight back here. And again, Ammonite was super unhappy with a 2-0 loss against the Europeans yesterday. So they came in here with a lot of preparation, really studying the VODs, looking at the hero pool and what's being played by PEZ. And PEZ must feel kind of good that at least they're fighting on eye level with their opponent here, despite the fact that they lost map 1.
Yeah, most definitely. As a player, coming out of that game, it's like, we were in it. We literally win that fight. We get the curse. After that, bosses are spawning. We're in a better advantage to maybe get boss, maybe chain that into 2 bosses. I think if you're side of the PEZ, it's easy to keep your morale up coming out of that, loss. I think the type of losses that are the worst is when it's like, a VP core situation where like the very end, you like have like a major just like lapse in judgment, or you get face rolled the entire game, right? There's like never a moment where you could have won, because then it kind of creeps in the back of your mind of like, wow, these people are just so much better than us, and maybe there's no way we can actually take them down. And that was, neither of those situations was the case for PEZ.
It's good that you explained that, because for the Europeans, it's a feeling we are not really familiar with.
Oh, sure. How did the Europeans do in CCL? I think they got
You
destroyed.
mean with ping?
With ping? Yeah, whatever. All right, we all know that the almighty Korean overlords in the HGC days. I mean, Europe was good. They were
I'm
better
happy
than
with
Europe.
a glorious 2nd place.
A glorious 2nd place. All right, the first loser. We salute you, #1 loser.
Does that make you 3rd?
Long live the 3rd. The Americans. The American dream.
Yeah. Is it crumbling here? We'll find out. I mean, for now they're 0-1.
Yes,
All band
yes.
aside, I like what PEZ is doing. We're heading into the draft for game number 2. Now, Battlefield of Eternity is our 2nd map. Now, again, the reminder, this is a loser's bracket. You lose here, you're out of the tournament. Both of these teams want to advance. PEZ, I think they have the tools. I think they can do it. They also had a late breakfast. They probably the caffeine hasn't kicked in yet.
True.
And I'm the first one to attest that without coffee, you're useless in the morning. So I believe that now that we're another half hour in, that is going to make a huge difference for the red team, or at least I hope so. But yeah, in terms of bans, Brightwing, right away.
The map's kind of interesting to me.
Korea plays it quite a bit, but again, the teams have studied a lot what has been played so far. The only games that we've seen from Ammonite, Korea was a bit weird. Korea had one qualifier where Tempest dominated, and they had, I think, 8 teams participating. But Ammonite was a close second. And then qualifier number 2 didn't really take place because all of the other Korean teams were like, nah, we're not playing. We can't beat them anyways. So that was a little bit of a wild one for me, where I was just like, really? You don't even want to try?
They screened them once, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, so instead we had another show match between Tempest and Ammonite. So I think the amount of resources that you have to study up on your opponent is a little bit limited. So that's what you have to base your patterns on then and what they've played yesterday. And that's, I think, what PEZ is mainly relying upon here.
It's just quite the support choke here. Brightwing, Malfurion, and Rhaegar all taken out of the pool. You know, I would be curious to see if that changes what Ammonite is going to do as far as this first pick. I mean, Lucio, we saw it make it through the draft last time. We'll see if it's picked up pretty early on here. I mean, also like Anduin, you know, you can always do Uther. There's options. But yeah, I think Blaze is so powerful. So I like this pick coming out from Ammonite.
Yeah, early Blaze here for Battlefield of Eternity. And there's the Diablo and the Vala. It's from a story perspective, it's so funny to me. Day one, Koreans came to me and they asked me like, hey, why is nobody playing Vala here? And I'm like, well, we have a couple of teams that play Vala, washed up. Nick played her a little bit, but in Korea, she has super high priority and she's oftentimes banned out, whereas other picks that we ban, they allow through the draft. And then we head into the first few games, and I think Korea played Vala once, but with the knowledge that the Koreans value her so highly, all of a sudden the Western teams were the ones to pick her. So it was kind of funny to see that. And if you give me these early picks and ask me, okay, which one is the Korean and which one is the North American team, based on what we've seen so far, it's actually PEZ that starts with that Diablo that we've seen from the Koreans, that starts with that Vala that they've highlighted so much. So it's kind of cool to just see them still trying to figure out, okay, what works best against the Koreans, how is the tournament meta evolving, and yeah, it's just those little nuances in the drafts that are kind of funny.
I love the draft nuance, and I love watching how it evolves as well. And I actually like the Vala early priority, especially with the support choke. I mean, Vala is really good paired with an Oriel. Also, you know, you can do something like a Zarya with it. You can, you know, potentially, I mean, they already picked up the Diablo, so probably won't see double support, but those type of things just become possible, become available when you do have the Vala, and so I do like that pickup. But the Lucio and Hanzo in return, if they do go for like a double support, okay, yeah, so they are afraid of the double support. I like the Uther ban. I think Hanzo with the Dragon Arrow is actually a pretty decent counter, just because it is a large AoE stun, and then Lucio kind of allows your team to just speed into them, kind of swarm onto the Vala. So definitely have some tools available for the side of Ammonite.
The cool thing about Vala is also that, generally speaking, you are very flexible on your level 1 still. We have a couple of priorities now, but Euro plays a lot with the multi-shot build. We have seen yesterday the auto attack style, and since it's Battlefield of Eternity, an arrow build is also still something that you can rely upon. It all depends on how you want to approach the map. Are you mainly focused on trying to get the Immortal? Are you more looking towards team fights? And also, what's the personal preference here? You've already talked a bit about the option of having a double support. So we've seen quite a lot of that, and in every single regional qualifier, I feel multiple styles were played, and so you can adapt to your own preferences here. We get the Stukov and we get Urel. And I can't help myself. Every single time I see Urel and Diablo, I'm reminded of the time in HGC where we had Deckard Cain, Urel, and Diablo as a nearly unbeatable triple. I think they had a 15-0 track record. If you got those three, you were more or less guaranteed the win.
Holy Trinity.
It was crazy. So every time I see those two being picked these days, now that's obviously after tons and tons of patches, it's still kind of reminiscent of the plays of back in the day and the comps that were played.
Yeah, and okay, we got the Genji. Okay, so this makes me think Vala's probably going Q build. Vala's going to kind of be there for race. But yeah, the Garrosh as well on the other side is pretty interesting to me.
In the Diablo is actually super strong. One
powerful.
of the counters there, we got the Junkrat too, so they can really ping-pong the front line around quite a lot.
Well, and if Stukov is ever out of position or Vala are ever out of position, they're going to be in for a world of hurt. So, you know, as far as drafts go, I don't know. It's hard to go against Ammonite, you know. At the end of the day, it's hard. And the thing is, I think that PEZ has some tools, but the issue is it's a really high like execution ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. Like they really need to click their buttons. very, very well, and they need to position really, really well. Because if they are ever, you know, kind of caught out by the Garrosh, by the Junkrat, they're kind of just going to chain death after, like one after the other.
Yeah.
And that's what I really am afraid that we're going to see in the mid game.
And that's happened a few times already, where any kind of Lucio play that existed for the Koreans always led to an initial kill and then just like chase, get another 2-3 follow-up kills and start dominating the game. And that's what's really the scary part here. But we'll figure it out. We'll have a look at the second game to see who takes it here. So first of all, we got on... Well, we got me. But besides that, we got on the blue team side. We have Haben on Junkrat. We got Reset on Hanzo. Spell is playing Garrosh in game number 2 of the best of 5 series. Hyde plays Lucio and H82 on Blaze.
And on the right, in the red of this best of 5 game number 2, we got Hosty on the Vala. We've got Porky playing the Urel. We got Khaldor's beautiful face again. And look, it's me. And then we got BBJ on the Stukov. We've got, you know, Brandon playing the Diablo and C-Pog X on the Genji.
All right, so already at the bottom of the map, let's see what we're going to get here. Who's going to take the lead in this one? Who's going to get first blood for now? When we're talking about Vala, the most important thing is we have indeed that arrow build that we already talked about a little bit. Arrow build is in. Try and erase the Immortal whenever they get a chance here.
Yeah, which is really, really powerful. So much burst from that. You know, we got Porky on the Urel here, split pushing. Would expect, you know, the early game have Genji do a lot of this. A lot of kind of camping, getting a lot of advantage in the 2v1. Once the bot siege camp spawns, I would expect Ammonite to either force that to kind of, you know, have Genji be forced to respawn down there. As it looks like H82 should be fine here. It's just going to stun the Urel. Actually trading pretty decently considering it is a 2v1.
Yeah, and at the same time, of course, we have now the aggression down at the bottom of the map where they're trying to make their play here in an attempt to get some structural damage in early on.
Yeah, as it looks like on the top side, PEZ. Like I mentioned, we got Porky and C-Pog taking that siege camp. So, and the bottom one has not been started yet by Ammonite. So we may see, you know, if they do opt to rotate down there. But Blaze was able to get the wave clear, so should just be a siege camp trade. As Ammonite does have the 4v3 advantage on the bot side. The question is which team will be able to actually get more push out of it. With the Vala and the Stukov, they have okay pressure, but you see Hosty already been, you know, chunked down to about half. So I would expect Ammonite to be able to push more here as Blaze just does have a lot of wave clear.
Yeah. Blaze is going to try and hold the top lane, but down at the bottom, at least Junkrat is also, I mean, they're melting this wall down within seconds. So they're doing fantastic. And of course, during all of this, you have Hyde just zipping around with Lucio, assisting the team here. So the wall is already falling. We have Vala continuing with the build, but all of it depends on the stacks she's going to get on her level 7. So for the first objective, it's not immediately going to come into play here for them. And we haven't seen any kills yet. So teams, I mean, up to level 10, we're going to get the first Immortal. We'll see how well they can trade into that. But once heroic abilities come online, we're going to see a lot of possible combos come out here.
Yeah, and I actually think level 10 is a pretty decent power spike for PEZ. I think this first objective phase will probably go to Ammonite. Just because I think, you know, with Junkrat, with Garrosh, all I need is one flip, and something like the Diablo is not as tanky. They don't have as many tools to help keep them, you know, survived. But yeah, I think once level 10 is reached, if PEZ is not too far behind, I think that'll definitely be a better power spike for them. As first objective has spawned, both teams kind of posturing, both teams getting their knights out. Actually, Blaze here in a bit of a misposition. H82, are they going to get boss stunned? No, they're not. Barely able to escape, but here comes Spell. Here comes the Garrosh. Not actually going to hard engage.
That would be a huge blow. If he would have been eating that stun of the Immortal, that could have been a kill there, and that would have been fantastic for NA. But now they are just trying to protect their own Immortal, slowly attempting to rotate maybe at least Vala down and do some work here. Urel and Blaze still sitting at the side lanes, not only trying to get experience, but also dealing with the camps that have been set en route a bit earlier. Stacks are coming in for Vala slowly, currently sitting at 6, so trying to get a bit more done, but a nice flip against Diablo. They're trying to go for Brandon, poke him low quickly. BBJ with some assist from the back, as now Blaze is also starting to move in.
The wall stun.
Lots of damage already done, and another stun, and Brandon in trouble. He goes down, and that is kill number 1. Nicely done.
Yeah, and Hosty is the next in their sights. Nice, rotation from CPOGX on the Genji, being able to help zone out, being able to pressure, but Spell on the Garrosh coming in, looking for Hosty. No tumble! That's going to be Hosty thrown in, and that's the second kill going over to Ammonite.
Yeah, Vala down, tried to escape here. Absolutely no chance for her, and that means that the Koreans can focus on the objective. They get the halftime show quite easily here. Lot of positional pressure here in the middle of the map already as is. And right now it seems that the only thing that PEZ is going to do is try and stop the bleeding here. But the Immortal will go to Ammonite as they are chunking it down on that.
Yeah, and I like this decision from the Koreans to just opt for, hey, full trade. Vola's dead. That's pretty much all of their race damage. Who cares if a Genji, Diablo, Stukov, and Urel are hitting the Immortal? They're not going to do nearly as much damage as us. As it looks like PEZ trying to force the issue here. Are able to get the flip onto Reset. Are able to get the flip onto the Hanzo. As we're going to get a little bit of player cams, which, they're in the zone right now. This is their tournament life on the line. Porky falling relatively low here on the Urel. Going to be able to jump out. But yeah, I think overall that trade was in favor of Ammonite as BBJ actually going to get booped in. That's a dead Stukov.
Yeah, Stukov, he tried to escape and there was just no chance. Taking him down too, nicely done. And with that, we have Stukov eliminated, a 5 versus 4 push at the top lane that would likely result in the fort being eliminated.
Spell on the Garrosh, really aggressive positioning. I really like to see CPOGX as well as Hosty are forced to kind of be, a beautiful unstoppable from the Garrosh, predicting what Brandon was looking to do. Really well played from Spell, and that's going to allow them to take down the Diablo. And look, they're half a level to 10. CPOGX now being the next chase down. The jokes! That's why they call him, the king of NA, CPOGX.
I mean, honestly, this is such a different game now from what we've seen on the first one. 4 kills to 0, level ahead, nearly level 10. The first objective already yielding a fort. Ammonite is on a roll at this point. They are going from camp to camp, and once 10 hits, it's going to be so difficult for PEZ to do anything on this map. It's going to be full control for the blue team until PEZ is finally able to soak enough experience for their own ultimates. Here we go. We have immediately the arrow for Hanzo. We get the Riptire, and they are, of course, going to try and take down that bottom fort thanks to Place.
Speaking of the arrow, Brandon going to get it immediately to the face. Taunt comes out as well. This looks like a very, very dead Diablo, and they're just trying to buy time for the fort. BBJ definitely going to be the next to fall. I feel like PEZ just bleeding deaths at this point. Should have probably just given the fort, maybe looked for a little bit of split push. This is a hard spot to be in. You're down the level 10 advantage.
Yeah, and one of the things that I also want to highlight, and look at the plays here. So they are pooping him around completely the entire time. He just can't do anything. Diablo is at the front, and we talked about all the displacement
and they're just trying to buy time for the fort.
They used it right away. They got the kill on Diablo, then snowballed it even further. And that's exactly what we highlighted during the draft too. It's just they have so many tools to punish Brandon once he steps out of position.
And they're refusing to take their foot off the gas pedal. Ammonite stealing the bruiser camp as well, taking every little inch, every little centimeter we can for the EU folks to just secure all, of basically PEZ's resources that they would like, as the second Immortal has now spawned. Level 10 has been achieved for PEZ, so they do have X-Strike, do have the Lightning Breath, do have a lot more tools now. But look at the map pressure. Bruisers on the top side, Sieges on the bot side. It's a rough spot for the side of PEZ.
Yeah, 6 kills to 0, not a single kill thus far for PEZ. They're really struggling to get a foothold in this game. They lost both of their forts. They're trying, of course, now for the next Immortal, and it's getting real tricky. The only thing that can really bring them back here is a big team fight victory. 2 levels behind. If they don't make something happen... Oh, it's so close, and there it is, the kill finally. PEZ, they are coming in with the Junkrat kill. They're looking for more, but the Koreans with an attempt to turn it around, nearly taking Urel down. The ult comes through, saving her. CPX gets away. Nice assist from Stukov as well. 5 versus 4 situation for PEZ. They wanted that follow-up kill, but they just couldn't get it.
A great helping hand coming out from Hyde. You see Spell, though, just chasing down BBJ. Actually going to get zoned out. A good Lightning Breath. But during all of this, Junkrat is going to respawn. And PEZ has not gotten any damage onto the Immortal. They've just been defending. So now, with the Junkrat running back in, we finally have Hosty able to get the halftime. But I would expect Ammonite to look to force it. As you see Brandon here on the Diablo, going to get tossed in. going to actually charge onto the Blaze. Looks like they're trying to take him down. Good Stukov silence. CPX, though, in a scary position. Taunt coming up right now. Can't spell connect it. Riptire not going to connect Genji. CPOGX just trying to escape. Able to side tap. Bombing, weaving, X-striking. Is he actually going to escape? No, he's not.
Not able to get away here. Brandon pushing his way out, trying to. Diablo dead, and so is Hosty.
Yeah, and this is Ammonite just cleaning up the team fight. Level 13 has been achieved for them as well, and I would expect this to be a full Immortal going their way, but just look at Spell on the Garrosh, just waiting for an opportunity to flip someone in. But yeah, this is going to be Ammonite able to secure the race here, and this is going to be the second Immortal going in their favor, and this is going to be knocking on the keep wall and potentially a keep taking push.
Yeah, they are going to go for keep here. I mean, it's a half on the Immortal, so it's not like... I mean, if they get kills, they might even be able to snowball it further than that. But it started off so well for PEZ with the initial kill. If they would have just been able to lock that second in, they got so close to making this a 5 versus 3. But Ammonite is just really showing off their skills here in the second game of this best of 5 series. And PEZ now, they have to soak XP until they hit that level 13. They got to deal with that push of the Immortal 2. They haven't taken a single fort, and they got a single kill in this entire series. So they're really, really struggling here. And for the Koreans, of course, a big opportunity now to move in and try and take keep and maybe even core.
And they have the tools to do it. Hanzo, Arrow is what I'm going to be looking at. Reset. Are they able to set up the engage? You know, because if they hit an arrow into someone, Garrosh, it's very easy to just walk up. BBJ needs to be careful of his positioning because that's kind of the prime target they're looking at. If they can get this Duke off and throw him in, that's what they're wanting, as the keep here is definitely going to fall. The question is, will PEZ be baited into engage? Will they, as just look, Reset on the minimap is so far away. I would expect a Dragon Arrow any second here as the keep has now fallen. Are they going to look for more?
Yeah, they're going to try and go for the core. The Koreans once again with the aggression and the arrow hitting Genji, Hosty, sorry, Vala. Vala getting taken down here by Hanzo as they're trying to go for the core. The Immortal already starting to take the shield down here as the Koreans are looking for a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. Going for an additional kill. Brandon desperately attempting to defend, but the bunker is up. Diablo in trouble. They're about to take him down. He's on the run. The core down to 63%. And Korea might have to retreat here. They are a little bit hesitant at this point. Vala's going to be back. She has Strafe, but it cost them 37% on the core. Ammonite couldn't finish the game, but they are still very, very far ahead as they are attempting to play it safe.
Yeah, and they didn't lose anything. It's not even like they overextended and had a couple people die. No, they just, you know, took your core down 37% and realized, okay, we can't end. We're going to back off. The discipline of saying, hey, we don't have to all in. We're not in a rush. With the next Immortal, with our 16 advantage, we are poised, we are positioned to win this game. And PEZ, North America, they need to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking for. At this point, when you're this far down, you have to team fight, and they're looking for the Blaze. No bunker for another 15 seconds. A good taunt does come out straight from Hosty, doing a lot of damage, but there are forts here, right? They can't chase. Oh, the Dragon Arrow, that could have been a
narrowly
disaster.
Missing. Yeah. The NA arrow comes out and misses the target, and boy, that is rough for Team PEZ. If that arrow connects, then it could have been even worse, but at this point, we have a 3-level lead for Team Ammonite. They have the talent advantage, the Immortal is spawning, there's catapults you gotta deal with, your core is low, and it's of course a bit of a Hail Mary that Team PEZ is throwing here. They were desperate to force a fight, and it didn't really turn out the way that they were hoping for, but they have to do the exact same thing again. They might wait for their cooldowns to come back up, but they need to force these fights, even though they know that they are really disadvantageous ones because they're still lacking the added talent.
Oh, CPOGX gonna scout him out. BBJ, though, actually able to get a pretty good silence here. Garrosh looking to throw this 2-5 in, not gonna be able to do it. Great team fight so far from BBJ. That's Michael's Death Adder coming in as it looks like the Riptire from Haven doing a lot of damage onto the Stupog. CPOGX falling very low. Blaze, no bunker, but Diablo going to die. Hosty doing a lot of damage with this strafe. Is he going to be able to get a kill in return? Genji falls. A beautiful scatter from Reset. It's a 3v5. Porky is just getting tossed around from one trap to the next. This looks like GG. This looks like PEZ being taken out as that's 4 fallen.
Yeah, only survivor is Stukov, and he's not gonna be enough to stop this. The catapults are on the move, and this is a disaster right now for the North American team. Nicely done here. Korea once again with another victory. They were able to take down 37% already with the earlier push, and now that they nearly defeated the entire team, they're going for it again. But the defense is still coming through. Lucio is down. Can PEZ actually hold? Look at Genji. He's low too. He dies. They're at 40%. The Koreans are pushing for the core here. And PEZ is desperately attempting to defend, but I think it's already too late. They're all low. Then this one, two, and it's game. Ammonite with a 2-0 lead in the best of 5.
They had my heart pumping at the end there for a second.
Yeah.
Though. I was like, are they about to pull a rabbit out of the hat like they need to?
For just a second, it looked like they might just be able to pull that off after all, but yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah, Ammonite too clean with it, and that's them going up. I would say a very convincing game number 2 for Ammonite. Very, very powerful on this BOE. And I was worried about the pre-level 10, right? Like, BOE is known as a map that snowballs very, very hard. And Ammonite just drafted around that, right? They got the Garrosh, they got the Junkrat. You know, these heroes that enable you to just boop someone out of position, get an insta-kill, and through that, you have the Hanzo to just lay down the damage into the Immortal. So, you know, well drafted, but also very well executed from Ammonite.
Yep.
And PEZ, you got to do something a little bit different at this point.
I mean, we got a short break coming up, but the players can also go to the restroom now, so they can talk this through a bit and see what they want to adapt to, what they want to do, what they want to change in order to make this happen now. But at this point, the Koreans, they look strong. Game number 2 more so than game number 1. For PEZ, yeah, I mean, they have opportunities, but they need to be a little bit more crisper on the execution if they really want to have a chance here. And as he said, especially the Battlefield of Eternity match, it looked like Ammonite was the team picking up steam here and getting stronger. So we're going to head into the third game in just a second. Before that, we're going to jump into a short break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with the third game in this series. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll be back with the Heroes International. Okay, and we are back with game number 3, Tomb of the Spider Queen. You ready for this? 2-0?
Kael'thas. It's time. I hope so. I think Tomb of the Spider Queen is probably my favorite map.
Kael'thas.
To watch, to play. Yeah, I like Kael'thas, you know. I don't know if you knew that.
What is this, 2017?
Okay, well, you know, convection gamers, you know, we never die. We're always picking convention and making you lose your game.
I think you play a little bit too much Storm League lately.
Hey! But I like this map because mages are good. You can get, you know, Jaina. You can get Gul'dan. You can get, if someone's really smoking that copium, you can get Kel'Thuzad. I don't think we're going to get that one.
Okay, the NA meta is hitting hard right now.
A little bit of murky? I don't know. But I just want some mage. You know, Gul'dan, Jaina.
Trickster, you changed a lot.
Oh, you know, just get rid of the rest, and there's my mustache, and I'm joining.
Yeah. We need to shave this thing off at some point, for sure. But guys, we're heading into the draft. As I said, Tomb of the Spider Queen is game number 3. The Koreans are ahead. It's the best of 5 series in the losers bracket of the Heroes International. So for PEZ, the tournament life is on the line on this map. They need to win this one right now, and it's not going to be easy. It seems like Ammonite is the team that is picking up steam here, and the draft is starting up. So they had a break. They are now in a position where they could talk a little bit about what they want to change. And hopefully they found a way to deal with all of this, because if not, then this is it.
Oh, they're chewing. They're warming up. And yeah, I mean, BBJ promised me at least 1 dub. He said I will get at least 1 victory. So I would expect us to go to game number 4. You know, I would expect this to maybe go to Dragonshire next. But this is feeling like a North American win.
A lot of trust here. The Brightwing ban, by the way, against BBJ is just coming out time and time again now. So every single game, we've seen Brightwing banned immediately by Ammonite. No discussion. They did their homework. They know exactly what they need to get rid of here. Lucio has been banned against them, and Junkrat. And now, what are we going to see as the additional ban from Ammonite?
You know, I think that they're terrified, petrified of BBJ's Stukov. So, you know, just gotta take that one off the board. But PEZ, currently Johanna. Okay, so Tomb of the Spider Queen, all about wave clear.
Yep.
Right? Super important. Got to clear those minions so you can get them gems, so you can turn them in. Get the big spiders. And Johanna is really good at doing that. That's pretty simple, right? But you got to get the Johanna to allow that. But another thing to know is that Johanna is also really good with mages, right? You pull into like a Gul'dan Q. or like a Jaina Blizzard.
Or into a Kelthos.
Kelthos Flame Strike. I was getting there, you know?
Okay.
Double Ignite Bomb. That's all I'm saying. And, okay, but I will say with Diablo being secured, I officially hate every mage available because Spell Shield
Does that
on a
pick
big
really surprise you?
No, not at all. But I'm just saying, like, why didn't you guys ban it? Like, instead you got rid of Lucio.
I thought they would pick it. I honestly thought they would just pick it first. That
Yeah,
we would see like
that's
really
actually a
this
good
meta
point.
again, and that instead of Johanna, they would go for Diablo. Yes, you give up some of the wave clear, but at the same time, he's a beast on this one. But yeah, so it is on Diablo. We got the Haka, we got Malfurion.
Okay, but I
You
will
got me
say,
fired up with the Kelthos now.
I actually think Kelthos looks kind of good. I mean, look at the cheesy stand. You pull into root, into stun, Dahaka Tongue into stun. You know what?
Okay,
I'm Kelthos. I
I'm
started.
going to be blunt. I think he's shit here.
Okay,
but,
well,
I still want to see him now.
who plays a lot of Kelthos? Khaldor, is it you or is it Wah?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, innervate.
That's just so not gonna happen.
I'm a little nervous. I think Chromie. Okay. Jokes aside, I do think Chromie could be pretty good for PEZ. Gives them, you know, they have a lot of stall with that, right? You have Johanna Blind, you know, Malf. Chromie can hit from afar. I know CPOGX does like the Chromie as well.
Yeah, the Chromie I can definitely see a lot more. Kelthos is I mean, Pyroblast if you go Kelthos, right? So Convection Pyroblast. Is that the play?
Of course.
Why am I even asking?
What do you... I mean,
and then targeting the front line, targeting Diablo.
I only Pyroblast into a special of Diablo. You know, I like just seeing
what
that
could go wrong?
Go down 10% HP. Yeah, that's...
Got him. No follow-up from the team. I tried.
Yeah, I played perfectly. I don't know what you want from me. But yeah, they get the Rhaegar and the Blaze. Two very powerful meta picks. Ooh.
Maiev and Vala. I liked it a little bit more than the Kelthos. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to win, I guess. But, like, for fun?
Yeah, if you want to style, then it has to be the Fire Mage.
Listen, BBJ promised me that they were going to get one win. So I guess he's sticking to his word.
They're saving the Kelthos for the next map.
Exactly.
Map
Once they
4.
reach game number 4, that's when they're going to pull out the fun picks. But, yeah, I like the Mav. It definitely pretty powerful. It takes a lot of mechanical skill, I will say, is something that you have to really be firing on all cylinders. Definitely a hero that you can feed on or, you know, look like a god. So the question is, which one is it going to be here?
I mean, strong front line for sure for PEZ. We have a lot of CC that they can use here too. Vala has to absolutely pop off. They got the tools. Got to be careful with Genji on the other side. So, yeah, it's a 2-0 lead. I mean, this is do or die. PEZ has to really deliver here, especially on the execution. They had some problems in the previous ones. And now we can figure out if they have a shot of at least forcing game number 4 so that Michael gets his Kelthos.
My promise. All right, but this is it. This is backs up against the wall, tournament life on the line. You're playing against Korea. You're playing against the best region in Heroes of the Storm. They always have been. Don't let, you know, Khaldor convince you otherwise. It's always been Korea. They've always been the big behemoth.
Hey, I didn't say anything.
Can they do it? That's the question. Can they start the reverse sweep here? You know?
Putting words in my mouth here. Well, we are getting ready to go, guys. So let's head into the game. We have our third map coming up. And over on the left side in blue, we have, at this point, Ammonite with Hyde on Rhaegar. We got H82 on Blaze, Haben on Sylvanas, Spell on Diablo, and Reset is playing Genji.
And then we got the North Americans. We got Team PEZ in the red. We got BBJ playing the Malfurion. CPOG X on the Maiev. We've got Hosty playing the Vala. We've got Porky on the Dahaka. And we've got Brandon, a.k.a. Unaverted, on the Johanna. And we got both teams just brawling a little bit in the mid lane. You know, this is Heroes of the Storm. This is what we do. But really on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it is so important to get the early game rotation. So whoever is able to get the favorable trade here is definitely going to have the lead heading into the next couple of waves.
Well, and as it stands, we have that brawl in the middle that you were talking about. Everybody is just all at it, and they go for the kill. Brandon, the first one to fall. Johanna is dead. They try for a counter. They're looking for Spell, and he makes it out of the fight. Multi-shot build for Vala here. Hosty going for the wave clear. Can, of course, also do tons and tons of hero damage in these big fights. But at this point in time, it is Ammonite with the plays. They are trying to come in for another one. But Sylvanas, CPX looking for a chance to take her down. but she's already out of harm's way.
Yeah, just barely out of range of the Maiev. But again, Ammonite, very clean rotations, immediately sending the Sylve and the Rhaegar to their Bruiser camp. And PEZ is nowhere inside of theirs. I think you just see Maiev now walking on over to it, as well as Hosty on the Vala. But going to be Ammonite, again, getting the advantage on these camps consistently. When it comes to the macro, has been, you know, in the advantage. The question is, what will they do off of it? And it looks like they're getting bottom Siege Giants as well. So Ammonite really just doubling up on these Merc camps.
Ammonite trying to apply pressure on the lanes early on. Getting that one kill helped them also with a bit of the timing here. We have gems on both sides. Nobody turned anything in just yet. So just a couple of early game shenanigans as we have Brandon at the top retreating, since they're really looking for him. They really want to try and force out that Iron Skin so that they have a chance to take Janna down. CPX waiting at the side, hoping for a good tether, of course. And they need to play this clean, but here's the Korean team again engaging, trying to make a move. CPX moves out, but it's that brawl in the mid lane with both bruiser camps colliding.
And looks like both teams going to be able to clear up. PEZ winning a little bit here as Hosty actually going to get flipped in on the Vala. That's not the target you want to get gone on, as that's going to be the first death, or second death of the game. Yeah, going over in favor of Ammonite, and this should allow them to drop some gems. As you see all the players zoned in here, ready to, you know, try and, if you're the side of PEZ, start this reverse sweep. And if you're Ammonite, you're trying to just clean it up, you know, get that 3-0, advance to the next series. As Porky here with 15 gens, going to be trying to escape. Do they have Essence? Actually going to be able to trade back pretty well. Genji as well as the Blaze fall pretty low.
Ammonites with an opportunity here to get the first turn, and they have 15 delivered, so they're getting a little bit closer to the first one. And we'll have to see if they can make that happen. If they get the pressure play with Sylvanas in the back, then they, of course, can enhance that push even further. And Sylvana's always there. I mean, she's always scary. When you are going into the first web weavers, and then all of a sudden you're also maybe getting a kill, the push power that you have through Sylvanas is just incredible, and it helps you to take structures down quickly, take therefore dominant position around the turn-ins. Then you can deny your opponent the ability to sustain themselves during team fights with those fountains being dropped. But here we are in the middle once again. And these fights are not bad for Hostia, actually. Vala has a lot of opportunities to get good stacks together, but she's only sitting at 7 right now. But the more team fights we have, the more opportunities to really stack this up into late game and do some work here.
Yeah, it feels like the Genji, feels like Reset is just constantly in Hosty's face, constantly pressuring and stopping him from being able to, you know, get those stacks. Like you mentioned, is Brandon here going to be getting on CPX as well, going for the counter pull, and Diablo here, spell so tanky. As Reset on the Genji, she's going to deflect, but definitely going to be Ammonite winning that trade from a health bar perspective, and that should allow them to drop a, you know, good amount of gens, actually dropping enough gens to get the first Web Weaver phase. And that's going to be Porky on the Haka burrowing as well, so that's the global down. That's very unfortunate for the side of PEZ.
A kill for them in this position would have been so good to make this defense easy, but Ammonite once again making a move here, trying to use those web weavers, pushing through the middle, but Diablo under pressure, the tether is there, they're trying to get the kill, but is it gonna happen? Spell, he's so low, Diablo, can they take him? No, instead it's Maiev that dies. They're trying to turn it, 36 gems that are getting lost here. The Koreans trying to safeguard them. Nice move though from Jojo, at least saving the gems, but they lost 2 of their heroes, and now it's a 5 versus 3, and Korea is again diving deep.
Genji coming in, Reset, looking for Brandon, going to be able to take him down, and now Hosty is down with 25 gens. If they lose this Vala, biting it, saying, get on out of my face. Gonna lose their life for it, but that's what we call a ego damage. That's mental damage inflicted, but that's a full level. That's 2 forts going the way of Ammonite with their first Web Weaver. It does not get better than that.
Yeah, this was pretty big right now. So at this point, they were able to get the hits in here, get the kills. We have 6 kills to 1. And yeah, they're looking fantastic. It's a level lead that they are currently having here. We have them nearly on level 10, so once they lock in their heroic abilities, this is going to be great. And I mean, we can have another quick look at this. I mean, just, it was actually kind of funny. Hyde came in with a big bite in that situation. They get the root, so at least they take Rhaegar down. That's the only kill that they got. but Korea absolutely dominant in the early stages. They have their level 10, so a lot of map control. You talked about the 2 forts that were dropped. This is tricky for PEZ.
Yeah, luckily a great play coming out from Unaverted on the Johanna, securing those gems. You know, if they lost all their gems there, if they lost the 35 that Porky dropped, that's lights out for them. They still have a win con, and that's going to be chaining 2 turn-ins back-to-back in the mid-game, which they do have the gems for, as BBJ getting gone on here. Maev not going to be able to connect the cage. Spell a little bit deep, but I actually think it's just a bait, as Trank is going to be forced in exchange for the Lightning Breath. We still have Bloodlust from Hyde, so that's something we got to keep an eye on. When does he look to activate that as the flank is getting set up? We got Blaze with a double stun, and the follow-up, the Bloodlust, the X-Strike, and that's PEZ's hopes and dreams. That's 30 gems falling to the ground.
Deleted. Malfurion and Jojo both dead. Korea pushing through the middle, 8 kills to 1. Ammonite with so much power, so much momentum, so much pressure, using Sylvanas in the mid lane. They're going for it here, and it's a total disaster for North America. We have Maev falling once again. Hosty's on the run, and Korea's relentless. They're merciless. They're coming in for the kills, but they might have gone a little bit too deep. Rhaegar down, so is Genji. The keep is still in play here, but boy, oh boy, is the Korean team aggressive. Even Diablo now getting licked. Spell will likely fall, so finally a few kills picked up, but this is still a very, very tricky spot for North America to be in.
Oh my gosh, it's taking so long though. There's Siege Giants literally on the bot side. I mean, this looks like to me, this looks like to me, Ammonite having some fun, right? Game number 3, they've kind of been balling out, kind of been winning.
And it all started with this play right here.
Yeah, and it's going to be, look at the flank, look at H82 on the Blaze, the double stun, and the immediate follow-up from, you know, the Korean brethren. That's really what Korea is known for. They all click their buttons together. When one of them goes, they all go. And you saw H82 setting it up on the Blaze and everyone following up perfectly.
Level 13 in their hands, a 6-kill lead, and they are going to be looking for that mid-keep in particular. They have so much momentum here. Not a single fort lost. It's such a great position for them right now. We got, at this point, 40 gems in the hands of the red team, so maybe they got an opportunity here to get a Web Weaver wave. I feel this is the only way for them to come back. Get level 13, turn in, get the Web Weavers, and try and take some structures down. But Porky might be in trouble, but he gets some assists from Vala. Malfurion is already headed his way.
Yeah, I feel like they have to stagger some deaths as well. I feel like that's really important for them, is even if they get just like a straight up turn in, I don't think that's enough. They need to get a turn in plus some kills. Diablo actually much squishier here, only has 45 souls. The root's not going to connect, neither is the tongue, as Porky here going to get flipped on over, as PEZ looking for the opportunity. BBJ with a good sidestep, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Silence. Wailing Arrow does come out. X-Strike also. That's 2 pretty big ultimates. PEZ does have a window here. No Wailing Arrow for 80 seconds. No X-Strike for 50 seconds. They should look to force, and they should force hard.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice retreat that he got. And they get the lick on Diablo. So Spell gets attacked, and he might be in trouble here. He's completely surrounded by the 5-man. Goes for the ulti. They're trying to melt BBJ, and Malfurion goes down. He dies, and Diablo still alive and kicking. Hosty also in trouble as Genji is trying to close the distance. Another stun, another kill. Maev is down, and Korea with a 5 versus 3 on the map.
They're like, okay, we'll take this keep now.
Or we got to.
Or will we? I see some heroes under the core. We dive these boys. But yeah, they're gonna take mid keep. They're gonna rotate over to bottom. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get the full keep here. Maev is still dead for 10 seconds, but should be able to get decent damage on it. If they do overextend, I mean, they're not 16 yet. Okay, they do just take for the wall. Are going to take the Knights and then probably back up and get the turn in. So I like this decision coming out from Ammonite. Porky is going to scout it out. No 16 yet achieved. I do think you take this fight. If you're the side of PEZ, they're still missing some ultimates here as Da'aka going to get on the point. Hosty on the ball, falling very, very low. X-Strike does come out. Actually going to get stopped with the dive coming out from the Johanna pull. Porky on the point though with 28 points.
He gets out, but they got the camp. He gets out, he saves the gems, but CPX is in trouble. Gets wall stunned again by Diablo. Absolutely no chance for him. Another kill, 13 in total now, and level 16 is available for Korea. They're trying, they're fighting. NA is attempting to stop the bleeding, but they just can't get that turn in. And the keep in the mid lane is, of course, gone. The keep at the bot lane also about to be destroyed. They are fighting a losing battle here. They are under so much pressure, and Ammonite is going through PEZ like hot butter through cheese as they're looking for another quick kill here in the middle to make their way towards the opponent's core.
Yeah, they're pulling Spell in, but I don't know if that's going to work as the Lightning Breath, the Bloodlust. That's two falling, and I think with it, that's going to be the hopes and dreams of PEZ falling as the core is being taken down. No more shields, down to 60%. Ammonite, they're doing it. They're taking down the North American team, and they're doing it in a convincing fashion as that's game number 3 going over to Ammonite and the series as well.
Nicely done, well played, and I mean, congratulations to Ammonite. They were upset yesterday, we talked about this. They really hated losing in the winner bracket to Europe. They dropped down into the lower bracket. They went straight back to the hotel, did their research. Even yesterday, they already were asking, hey, when is the earliest we can arrive at the venue to start practicing, to get some games in? And they did what they had to do here. I had hopes for North America to take a map or two and maybe even cause a bit of an upset here. But it was Ammonite who from game to game just became stronger and stronger and found their rhythm and didn't give them an opportunity.
Yeah, Ammonite, once they had their foot on the gas, they did not pull it up at all. Felt like that game number 1, the Cursed Hollow was the best chance, was the best opportunity for PEZ, you know, around that trip fight to actually take a game down. But, you know, going into this series, we all thought Ammonite was definitely going to be, you know, the juggernaut.
They were the favorites.
Yeah, they were the favorites. So, you know, we've been talking about it. It is the 3-0, but Ammonite was expected to win the series. So, you know, bracket going kind of as expected. But yeah, I mean, it looks like the North American boys, they still got some smiles on their face. That's Hosty talking to BBJ. You know, they're happy to be here. This is probably going to be the last HOTS LAN, or one of the last HOTS LANs in a while. And, you know, it's amazing to be here with their friends. You know, they've been playing games with these guys for the last 4 or 5 years. So, you know, being able to hang out, be together, even though you lose, you're sad about it as a competitor, but you're still happy to be able to experience this. So, you know, props off to them. As we see Justin as well in the corner. Look at him zoned in, dialed in.
Yeah, he's going through all of the clips here as well. But of course, at the same time for Ammonite, it's now a chance to make that run through the lower bracket. They're really, I mean, for them, it's just a relief.
Yeah.
They came here to make it work. They couldn't against Europe. Now against North America, get the victory. They want, I would assume, also the rematch against Bangbush to show them that it was just a fluke, that this is not going to happen again. So they want to face off against them once more if they can. But that run through the lower bracket is going to be tricky for sure. But good job by them. So this concludes our first series of the day. Again, there's a lot of content coming today. We got 5 best of 5s for you and a lot of action here. And with that, we're going to head into a short break. And when we're back, we're going to go straight into the second series in the losers bracket. So guys, stay tuned and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.